Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. You won't believe me, but it really is a pleasure and my privilege to be here because majority of people know me for winning my silver Olympic medal, but rarely do people know that I am a way bigger tennis fan than a swimming fan. It is absolutely true. When I was little, I actually looked up to tennis idols. I really did. Mima, Jelena, Katarina Srebotnik, Iva Maioli. You were my idols. So I didn't have swimming idols, I had tennis idols. And then what happened is when back in the day when I was still swimming, I tell you, I watch every tennis match religiously. And I was getting ready even for Olympics. And I would, because we had no smartphones, so I couldn't ask my coach to check the statistics of the matches while I was training. So I used to beg my coach, please, 30 seconds extra rest. So I would run to the nearby bar, check the match results on TV, run back in my swimsuits into the pool, and then I would swim onwards. When I went to, just a few stories before I actually get to my presentation, when I was at Athens Olympics, I was 16 years old at Athens Olympics, and I did not care about swimming. The only thing I cared about was chasing down all tennis players in the Olympic Village. And when Katarina got me Nadal's, signed tennis ball, it was the happiest day of my life. So to this day, I love tennis. I watch it. I love mentally preparing young athletes to be as resilient as possible on court. And what I still do, if it's a night match, I wake up, I avoid all messages, I avoid my phone, I avoid messages or calls from my mother because I don't want to know who won. And then I wake up in the morning, I rewind the match backwards, and I watch it as if it's live. So, and then people, it's true. And then people ask me, but do you play? And I'm like, swimmers? Swimmers playing tennis? No, that's a no-go. We don't know how to move our feet. So there's no footwork when it comes to a swimmer moving on a tennis court because we keep our feet together when we swim. So Katarina told me one day we're going to go play together. Maybe, yeah, one day. But why am I actually here? Do you know I actually forgot my clicker? Do we have a clicker? I need to somehow click my presentation forward. Or is there somebody here? Ah, yes, voila. We found a clicker. So why am I actually here? I have 30 minutes, so super short. I will be as quick as possible, but I'm mostly here today to share my story. And a lot of Slovenians already do know my story. I'll repeat it for you guys. Maybe for some people that I haven't met before, it's the first time for you. But what I really want to share is how was I really able to climb to, the Olympic podium? And what are some of those things? I actually prepared 3 ingredients for you today. And I know a lot of you can relate to these ingredients that I will share with you. What does it actually take to climb high in a very healthy way? But then some of you aren't maybe from a sports, background, and maybe these things will help you as well. No rocket science, I know you know these things, but a little bit of maybe, insight into how my life looked like. So it really did all start in the year 2000. Here I was 12. And I'll never forget, I was watching Sydney Olympics on TV. Back then, I lived in Dubai. I actually grew up in Indonesia, Malaysia. We lived in Turkey and Tunisia, a little bit in Russia as well, and then I moved to Dubai in 1996. So I was a little kid swimming and watching Sydney Olympics. And I remember to this day, I said to my parents, Mom, Dad, I'm going to the next Olympics. So it wasn't, then I have a next slide. So it wasn't about, I have to. Nobody ever forced me. My mother was a swimmer. So, we talked about parenting. She never told me, you have to go to Olympics. No, that was never. My mother, the last thing she would be like, you have to go to Olympics. So it wasn't, I have to. It wasn't even, it would be nice. I wasn't one of those kids who said, oh, it would be nice. In Slovenian, we have a nice way of saying it. Fajn bi bilo. Ja, res bi bilo fajn. No, there's no fajn bi bilo, fino bi bilo, or it would be nice. There was no, I have to do this. I have to prove myself. I have to get to that point because only then I am worthy. Luckily, I had this ability to dream within my house, and I decided. And really what it takes, it's a decision. And why I encourage this so much is because within your area, and no matter if you're working with kids or whoever it is, let them decide how far they want to go. And you decide for yourself how far you want to go. But I put down this number one, so the first ingredient. And I know it sounds cheesy sometimes, but I really understood that if there's a dream and if there's a wish, I need to turn that into a goal. It cannot stay a wish. A wish is just a mental event over here above the head. It needs to be materialized into a goal. I will achieve this. And luckily, I said it. I said it in 2004. I went to Athens. I was the youngest Slovenian Olympian. And then, you know what I said, 2006? 2006, I said, Mom, Dad, next Olympics, I'm bringing home an Olympic medal. And my mother, because she's Slovenian, I love my mom so much, but she said, no, let's be a little bit more realistic. Olympic medal is the next step. My dad is Serbian, and there's a little bit more courage in the Serbian blood. I'm so proud I'm half Serbian. Moj tata, šta je uradio? My dad, the first thing he did is he congratulated me and he said, Ljubavi, čestitam na tvojoj olimpijskoj medalji. So the first thing my dad did, he shook my hand and he said, my love, congratulations on your Olympic medal. So me and my dad, because we're soulmates, we're jumping, we're celebrating. My mom leaves the room. She's like, you are all crazy. But I really did. I decided. I was like, I figured if I dream till here, I get till here. So is there another bigger step? Why not? Who said? Oh, you're from Slovenia. Do you know America swims and Australia and China and the entire Europe and South America and Africa is South Africa, right? So I said, yeah, I will do this. And I will tell you how I did it. Of course, I worked my butt off every single day. I was the hardest working athlete at the pool. But I'll tell you a little bit about the mental aspect of my performance. So, please, maybe just this year. What is it already? Nearly April, March, yeah. How many of you have decided this year what it is you want to take out? What do you want to get out of this year? How do you plan your success with your athletes? How do you plan your personal success, your health? Just take your health. Do I take care of myself? Yeah or no? Where do I want to go? You literally have to decide because no one's coming to do it for you. So please, maybe for this year, just start thinking, what do I want? What do I really want for myself? And then how can I let others develop that vision? All I want to say is also for the coaches. I know there's a lot of coaches in here. But there's parents too. I really ask you one thing. If the child on its own tells you what they want to do, what they want to achieve, without you ever telling them what they need to achieve, the child says, you know what I want? One day I want to be there. You know what, Tati, Mami, do you know where I want to be one day? Please never tell them it's not possible. Please, like this, I know, it's in Slovenian culture. Immediately, it's like, nehaj sanjat. It's like, stop dreaming. Spusti na realna tla. Like, be a little bit more realistic. And sure, maybe somebody in the family needs to be a little bit more realistic, but you know what you also need in the family? Someone who tells you, yeah. Not yes, you will achieve this. My dad is like that, but okay. My dad is more supportive in that sense, very loving. But just tell them, oh, wow, those are your dreams? You're brave. You don't have to say, yes, you will achieve it, because you don't know. But you know what you do? You just tell them, wow, that's brave. That is very brave. Wow, kog si pogumna, kog si poguman. To su tvoje sanje. Like, those are your dreams? I'm here to support you. That's all a child needs. So please, please just be aware of the thoughts that you're implanting into your child's mind. And I have a 3-year-old now. And a 3-year-old is just the most imaginative little being of all time. And there's nothing that's possible or impossible. So when a young child dreams on its own, on her own, on his own, just be there and validate the dream. Be like, yeah, let's work hard on that. Let's see how far we can go. Please never tell your kids it's not possible. I really don't think that's fair of us as parents or coaches. That's just one taka iskrena moja želja. An actual, yeah. So that's the thing. So it really starts with the wish, with the dream. It's like, where are we going? Where are we headed? What do we want? You cannot get there if you don't decide the direction of where it is you're headed. And luckily, sports knows that very well. The second thing I put down, which is so obvious, everybody knows we need to plan out the path. And we plan it out. And we put the steps. What will it take to get there? We won't talk about the plan. You know what we're going to talk about? Play. And focus on the process. As coaches, as mentors, as psychologists, as whoever it is that you're in the supportive environment, please, you know this so well. If you focus on the outcome, it's over. If I focused at Olympics, is it going to be a medal? Abo medalja, no medalja. So is it going to be, who's going to beat me? This one, the Chinese, who's 2 meters wide, the Americans, who's 2 meters tall? Like, I just get totally caught up. I'm right here, right now. What can I do right here, right now? What's in my control? How can I focus on the process of execution? And today, kids are so focused on the outcome. And they're so eager to get it. You know why? Because they're constantly used to this instant gratification. It's like the result, let's get it. No, let's focus on the process, the how. Every child, every young athlete I work with is paranoid about the outcome. Even at school, it's like, is it going to be a 5 or 4? I don't care. Tell me, how are you going to do it? What are you going to take care of? Kaj boš poskrbel, da se zgodi? Tell me the how. How will you take care of the process so that the result comes on its own? But even that today won't be the main focus. The main focus is play. And you know what I tell tennis players? Because they get caught up in the head. They get so caught up with these statistics and results. And I get it, it's important. But you know what they forget about? This. And then I tell them, you know how lucky you are? You are so lucky. You know why? Because you play tennis. Do you know you are a tennis player? Because I'm not I'm a swimmer. That's boring. It's like, just swim. You actually, I tell them, what is your role on the tennis court? What is it? It's to play. But you know what the best thing about the word play is? I mean, play, we get it. You're executing your best shots. No, you actually play a game. It's a game. It's play. It's supposed to be playful. So I only ask you today one thing. So the dream, please, let's encourage kids. We have potential in Slovenia. We don't dare to dream. We really don't. The second thing, can we please include more play? Because you know what? It has to be fun. And it gets serious on its own. It's going to get serious. It's fine. It gets serious. But can we still play while it gets serious? How lucky I am that the pool is in front of me and I get to jump in the water. I know I swim, but you know what I can do? I can play in the water. And I play and I pretend that I'm a dolphin underwater, that I'm catching a wave, that I'm a cheetah on the blocks, that I use the water, the power of the water to help me move forward. that I race my teammates. That's the point, to race. Not what time I'll get. I'll get the time if I'm playful and if I race and when I work with young athletes, I'm like, why did you start playing in the first place? You know why? Because it was a game and it was fun. And you know what's now? It's not fun anymore. So the person who will play the longest will win at the end. And one of our best demonstrators of play is Luka Doncic. He's one of the, Hirash. Well, no, just now, this generation. Maybe he can agree. He actually plays basketball. He's so free. And this freedom is so important. Immediately when you get caught up in, how is it going to look? What's my plan? Oh, the plan isn't going my way. What am I going to do now? Just play. Because everybody knows. I know how to swim. You guys know how to play tennis. And then what happens? You become all robotic. And then you know what swimmers eventually do? You see it. Maybe when you watch Paris Olympics this year, maybe you will see it as well. I don't know if you see it the way a swimmer sees it. But there are swimmers who swim, and then there's swimmers that race. And it's a massive difference. There's a swimmer who robotically swims up and down the way they rehearse the race. That's important, stick to the plan. But then you know what? The best thing to watch is people that actually race. And you can tell it in the technique, you can tell it in the determination, you can tell it in the way they finish the race. So how? I don't know, I'm trying to solve this problem. How do we include play with little kids that are so playful? And then all of a sudden they're like, man, tennis practice. Not really. Maybe your tennis players are more excited than swimmers coming to practice. But play, please. Do you play? How's your life? Just maybe, I don't know, as a coach, you're like, how playful am I? How much imagination do I use to bring, excitement, enthusiasm back onto the court? Please, let's work on this. We have so much room for improvement. And my dad is a Boeing examiner. He was a pilot all his life. Now he does instructor work and, in the training department at Emirates Airlines. And since I was little, for me, it was all play. And he used to tell me, the world is your playground, just play. And when things were challenging, he would just stop me. I put down this quote as well, because I think it's a really good one. And my father tells this to every pilot entering a simulator exam. So even though challenges come about, and it's not going to be fun, and it's going to hurt, and we're going to die and puke and, really feel like our body is going to fall apart, it's going to be challenging. But then as a 12-year-old kid, this is what I heard in my house every day. And my dad would tell me, listen, it's fine, you're challenged, good. You know what? Every challenge is a confidence-building exercise. It's just a confidence-building exercise. So either you're going to learn something or you're actually going to succeed. You cannot lose. So we need a little bit more freedom. How can we liberate our kids to go on court and play freely? Because you know what they do? In practice, they play freely. Can they play freely on a tennis court when the match really matters? How do they view challenges? How do they view these opportunities? Very, very important. So which leads me to the third very important step. What does it actually come down to? And it comes down to the physical training. Trust me, sometimes I also cheated, but I still really gave it my best every practice. If the coach wasn't looking, swimmers like to, pull on the lane ropes, because that's how you cover more distance, right? There's things, the coach says, kick freestyle, you kick a little bit of breaststroke. Those things, but still, I did the physical training, I did everything my coach told me to, but what I was very, very good at, I can really tell you that, or maybe different from the other swimmers in Slovenia, I was willing to invest into the mental training. And luckily, as a 14-year-old kid, I started meditating. And as a 12-year-old child, my mom, she told me, go sit in the corner, visualize your race. And I was like, yes, mother. And I have a twin brother. My twin brother never sat down in the corner to visualize. But I believed my mom. So I sat down as a 12-year-old kid, and I was already visualizing my races ahead of time. So luckily, my dad is, he has to be kind of a psychologist when working with pilots, so I had the mental support. But there's just 4 things that I'll quickly go through. I have 6-hour lectures or 6-week trainings on these topics. But what can we help our athletes? Just stick with me here. And what can you help yourself? First help yourself, then help your athletes. Why do we not talk about the soft skills of performance as much as we need to? I ask coaches, I ask parents, I ask teachers, what do you value most in your athletes or students? What do you value? What do you admire? What do coaches say? That he is fast and strong and has good endurance. Is that what a coach says? No. Does a teacher in school say, I'm so proud that he is so smart? No, they don't say that. You know what they say? I value the determination, the persistence, the confidence, the motivation, the coachability, the focus. That's what we value because we know soft skills are the ones that bring an athlete to the actual result. We know this. Without my mind being in the right place, my body doesn't do the work. If I don't know how to regulate my attention, I cannot stay focused. And then I have some parents and coaches say, well, kids don't have focus today anymore. There's no focus. And I say, it's not a matter of having or not having. It's a matter of training. You need to train focus. These kids today need way more focus than our generation ever needed. So it's about regulating your attention and training focus purposefully. It's about learning how to regulate the nervous system. And luckily, athletes get it because they're like, okay, I just need to breathe deeply. But then some athletes think deep breathing is up here. Zato ka stara mama reče globoko dihan. And they think it's up here. No, it's not. It's deep belly breathing here with the diaphragm so that you can activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And I tell this to kids. I'm like, how does a 14-year-old child not know breathing techniques? And they've been in tennis for 8 years to regulate the nerves so that they can stabilize the body and bring clarity to the mind. Do you know what pilots do the first thing when shit hits the fan in the cockpit? They breathe. You don't have to think about this when you're flying. But pilots breathe because they know they need to regulate their nervous system so they get cognitive clarity for better decision making, for the capacity to think and reason and anticipate. How does a 14-year-old child coming on a match court doesn't have the basic, let's say, 3 breathing exercises, either to stimulate their nervous system or calm it down? So important. How do coaches not know this? The most important thing for any leader is to learn how to regulate the nervous system. So important because then your vibe, your energy, I don't know, basketball is a little bit different. They function on a different energy. But for example, even tennis, if you see a crazy stressed out parent, even on the stands or your coach, you will feel the stress. So you know what parents need to do the entire match? They need to breathe or they need to leave. One of those options. Choose one. The third thing we do not talk about is thought awareness and body awareness. Enough, and let me just say enough. A 10-year-old child deserves to know and to develop a healthy relationship with their thoughts so that they know how to regulate the negative thoughts. How do they regulate it? They don't teach. I tell teachers in school, because I lecture a lot in kindergartens and schools, and I'm all over the place. But I tell them, you want emotionally intelligent kids? You want a positive mindset in the classroom? Yeah, I know. How many hours of class per week do you have emotional intelligence and thought awareness? And they're like, oh, none. And I'm like, oh, where are they supposed to learn this from? Parents don't have the time. Coaches don't have the time. Thought awareness. Guys, I know you might think, oh, even Olympic medalists, like maybe you guys are really rainbows and unicorns of this planet, and my life is all like, woohoo, happy thoughts. Not at all. My alarm clock rang 4:40 a.m. every morning. 4:40 zjutraj, vsak dan. 5:20, we jumped in the water. So it was 8 kilometers in the morning, 8 kilometers in the evening, and 20 years of my life. And I promise you, when the alarm clock rang, my first thought wasn't, woohoo, gremo plavat, komaj čakam. It's like, let's go, I can't wait. No, that was not my thought. My thought was, I wish, kaj bi dala, samo da eno minuto dal spala. I wanna sleep 1 minute longer. And on the way to practice, it was constantly, are we gonna die? What are we gonna have today? You guys at least play tennis, it's a little bit fun. I watch the tiles on the swimming pool floor for 16 kilometers a day. And the head gets so negative. And not just mine, but the heads of everyone around. And when I come into the morning, and some things I say in Slovene, because when I come into the locker room in the morning, do you know what the first thing I hear is? Kaj prva stvar, ka slišam zjutraj? Sara, amo danes umrl. Like, are we gonna die today? Is the first thing I hear when at 5:07 in the morning, I come into the locker room. And I'm thinking, okay, just breathe. Let it go. Right? So these thoughts, the negative thoughts that our children have, that kids have on tennis courts, that you have an absolute ability to develop a healthier relationship with your thoughts. Sometimes believe a little less of everything you're thinking about. Thoughts are just thoughts. They're mental events that come and go. Body awareness, really quick. You know how important body awareness is in tennis. A 10-year-old child deserves to have the best body awareness training techniques in the pocket. Because if my body language is signaling that I'm already defeated and it's nowhere over, the opponent is going to start to take advantage and win. Body awareness for many reasons. Last one I put down, because I only have 30 minutes and I have maybe 2 more minutes, is visualization. And we know this. Luckily, sports is the one that talks most about visualizing. But I'll just tell you my story. Yeah, I learned how to visualize when I was 12. Luckily, I stuck to the practice. Of course, later I did all the brain research and my background in neuroscience. So now I understand why visualization practice is so important. Back then, I just understood. If I want to be ready for that event ahead of time, I need to repeat it mentally in my head many, many times before. So 2006, when me and my dad decided, I decided. My dad was supporting. My mom did all the work. When I really decided, that's when I started to visualize it. So even though I was home in Bled, I would close my eyes at night and I would be in Beijing. So 2006, before I got to Beijing in 2008, I was actually there 300 times before. So in my mind, I would go there and I would Google, and tennis courts. Today you can Google any arena, how it looks. Tennis court is tennis court. You know what ground you're playing on, so at least have that in your mind. And for me, a swimming pool is a swimming pool. But I would Google what the Beijing arena would look like, so I had better visual cues. And I would literally walk from the ready room to the blocks in my imagination. And I would feel it, how I take off my shoes, how I fix my cap and goggles. And then I would hear. And I know tennis players, it's different because you have a different dynamic and there's an opponent. You don't know who you're playing against. I get it, but you still have the ability to visualize yourself. So I come to the blocks and I feel the texture of the block underneath my feet because I know what the blocks feel like. And even though I'm in bed, I'm on the blocks. And all I actually wait for is take your marks. And on the beep, I jump and I swim. First 50, second 50, third 50, and fourth 50. And I swim like I do in real life. And I touch the wall and I see the world record time. 1:55.00 was the time that I visualized. And I see an Olympic medal, so I'm like, oh, I got an Olympic medal. Let me go to the the medal ceremony. So after, in my imagination, I swam my race. I'm like, now it's time for my medal ceremony. So I went to the medal ceremony, and I'm there. And I would Google the voice of the commentator, because the Olympic commentator in swimming has the best voice of all time. How he says, and the winner of the Olympic medal representing Slovenia. So I would hear it, and I still get goosebumps because I would hear it so many times. So then I would stand on the podium, get my medal. My tati, mami, usi soblituke. I'm like, hello. And I would cry. I mean, tears flowing down my face because I was so happy. And even though it was 2006 and 2007 and a lot happened in between, I kept doing it. No matter the crisis, I was like, no, this is where I'm headed. This is what I'm going to achieve. And it really, sometimes then people ask me, well, they ask me, but, did you specify? And I'm like, no, that was my mistake. I said Olympic medal. I should have said Olympic champion, but it's okay. You have to really specify what it is you want. How does the mind know what Olympic medal? But luckily, I did swim 1:54.97. So I swam 300s faster than the time I wrote down. But this is what I wanted to tell you. It's like at the end, when I won my medal, people ask me, what is it like to win an Olympic medal? And I say, vam povem najprej v slovenščini. And I say, drugače je dost navaden. It's like actually quite normal because I've been there so many times before that in real life I'm like, oh, this is it. Hello. It's a joke. But still, I learned it through sport. I'm like, how amazing we can use the power of the brain to prepare for events ahead of time. You don't have to visualize Olympic medals. You can visualize getting ready for meetings. You can visualize the process of how you will get to a certain place. But it's so important. And that's why I work with young athletes, because they deserve this. The kids deserve this in school. Why don't they visualize their test one day before? Because no one teaches them. And just for the end, I want to finish off with this quote. And I actually Googled if there is any quote like this, because I was like, I don't want to steal it from somebody. But now I put my name on it because there is no quote like this. But I really believe this is the essence. In essence, I know the dream, the plan, the mental resilience. But in essence, if you want to achieve success, first, feel worthy of that success. And I wish that we as now parents can build confident generations of kids who feel worthy of success. Not success, a healthy life. So they stand up for themselves, so they make decisions which are good for them, so that they have this ability to dream. That's what it's all about. And I'm very grateful for your attention and for sticking with me, all these minutes. I really hope that, that I started off with the tennis stories. So tennis world, please keep inviting me back. I wanted to tell you what a big fan I am. Yeah, let's do good. Let's together do good. I know I'm a swimmer. I come from a swimming background, but I understand the psychology. I really do. And I want you guys to help your younger generations so that they can just be healthy. I want the kids to be healthy. I don't care where they're gonna go, but let's make them healthy. And this, I feel like this is the secret to a healthy and long life. So, hvala, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you. Thank you.
Sara. Wait here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait here with us.
Yeah, okay, we're waiting. Okay.
Sara will stay with us, so she mentioned medal ceremony. I will try. Olympic champion representing Slovenia, Sara Isaković. One big applause.
But you've been here so many times before.
Yeah. This one I did not visualize. I did not visualize this.
We need your help now. We are exhausted. We are
You
not
are?
Olympic swimmer. We are not Navy SEALs.
Okay.
Thea starts. She is the main organizer.
is.
Yes.
Thea
She's the main
legenda, chi è?
organizer
Yeah,
of this
yeah.
conference.
Yeah.
She said that we must end with something big. What is big, man?
Wow, what is
Like
big?
let's try with a big applause for now.
For
start,
yourselves.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Big enough, Thea? Big enough? Bigger applause.
Bigger, bravo!
And I saw BIG on your slide. So BIG, big words at the end from you, not from us. For Thea and everybody, for the
Help
big
us out, Sara. You said
end of this conference.
My words.
Yes, you will end this conference.
I end this conference. What an honor. I'm
Yes.
already honored to be here. Guys, there's no magic. Just maybe start by just being honest. Honest with yourself about where you are, where you're going in life. And when you actually take care of yourself, just start with yourself. Take care of yourself. Be honest and feel that you can, that you can actually, live a healthy and full of quality life. And so start with yourself. Maybe that's the message.
This was big enough, huh? What do you
Big
say?
enough.
Miss, start.
Thank you, Sara. We wish you a pleasant rest of the
hvala.
day. And we hope to see you in Alaya Bar at 8 o'clock.
And now another big thing, destroy.